I was trying to segue to start the episode, but I guess it didn't take
Yeah, I
because you
kind
have
of
to do your hair.
I didn't have to do my hair. I get to do my hair.
Um,
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Steve.
and I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
We'll come back to that later in the video. All right, or in the podcast. What if you're watching? If you're watching, it's a video. If you're listening, it's a podcast. All right, this first ad was sent by David Santander.
Yep, it's a body Telecaster style almond wood and epoxy glow in the dark. Handmade body Telecaster style epoxy almond and almond wood glow in the dark. Unfinished. Sold as is in pics. Free shipping in Italy. Taxes and import duties not included. Corpo Citata Elettrica Stile Telecaster Resina Eposidica glow in the dark. Mandorle e legno di mandorlo da rifinire articolo venduto com in foto. Spedizione in Italia gratuita, tasse e dazi doganali non inclusi nel prezzo.
Steve, I didn't know you were fluent in Italian.
Me neither. Apparently I am now.
So I can see why this thing is unfinished, because whoever was working on it saw how it was turning out and was just like, I give up.
That's the exact same feeling I got. Oh, this is the glow in the. There is one picture of that's the glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Normally, okay.
They should have left out all the almond stuff and the wood and just done straight glow in the dark, because that picture looks rad.
It does.
Like
it
this
does.
epoxy, semi-translucent, glow in the dark, pistachio green. There should have been pistachios in there.
The semi-translucence of it is really interesting, because it basically, to me at least, it gives me the impression that there's a lot of like manufacturing defects.
I think this would polish up to be nice and
Do you
shiny.
think that's all like surface? Do you think it's glow in the dark because
No,
of like
they
surface inconsistency?
They pulled this out of the mold and then they ran it through a planer and they were like, this doesn't look the way we thought it would look. This does not look cool at all. Because it kind of just looks like there's a bunch of random little leaves floating around in it or something like that.
Those are all, oh my gosh.
They're almonds in the
They're
shell.
almond, yeah, I was gonna say they're almond pits.
Yeah.
There's some almonds. Basically, okay, if you
there are a couple
if you took this guitar to a desert island and you could not find food on said island,
oh my gosh,
you could melt this guitar.
The calories that it would take to get the food out of this guitar wouldn't be worth it.
Sure.
And if you melted it, if you burned it in a fire, first thing, you would get cancer from it for breathing the fumes. Maybe like a passing ship would see the oil fire of all the plastic burning. Like, oh, there's a dark plume of smoke. You're never getting the almonds out of this by burning it, Steve.
But I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh. Just eat the epoxy. It'll fill your little tum-tum. Yeah, they should have just done the glow in the dark epoxy and put some glitter in there or something like that. The almonds did not work, and they know it doesn't work, which is why they're selling it. Did it say how much they want for it?
$113. I feel like that price is
$226 shipping though.
Well, because
it's from Italy. Yeah.
I don't know if that's normal.
It's probably just because it's estimated by Reverb.
Right.
There's no way this sold outside of Italy. The listing has ended. It doesn't say if it's sold or not, so we don't know.
So that means they found a local buyer.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world,
but it's close.
It's just not worth the epoxy. I'm not a huge fan of epoxy stuff in general, because it all kind of
Right,
tends to
right.
be same after a while. It's like, oh, cool, another iridescent river, or here, like there's baseball cards floating in a guitar, cool, or whatever. Like sometimes it's done really well. Sometimes it looks really cool, and we've seen examples of that. But most of the time, it just looks like, oh, I wanted to make a guitar out of, toothpicks, but it's
Right.
mostly epoxy.
So I think the answer is yes.
What is the question?
Is Italy known for almonds?
I don't know. I know California is known for almonds.
California is known for,
And California and Italy have that Mediterranean climate
right.
going on,
So
so I
that's-
wouldn't be surprised if they have almond groves
because
there.
otherwise, why would you pick almonds as? I mean, I don't.
If from a distance, this would just look like it's got turds floating in it. Like maybe almonds are sold in the shell more often in Italy, but you
Right.
almost never see them in the shell.
Over there, do they call them almonds?
Is there a reason why they would? Do you know anyone who calls them almonds?
That's like an American dialectical, like a regional dialect thing.
I've never heard it.
Yeah.
Regional where? What region?
I forget.
Sounds like he just made it up.
I did not
Steve.
make it up. It's a thing. If you are watching this video and you call the almonds,
I mean,
call it amen.
If it had two
Leave a
L's in
comment.
it, it'd be Imans. Imans. In Espanol, is that how they would even be said? Because it's a Y when you have two L's. Imans. I don't know.
If it's like if it was Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think
Is this a good podcast?
in Italian, almond is mandorlo.
Mandorlo.
Or mandorle.
Isn't that an Italia model?
That's why is it?
Mandore.
No, you're thinking of
I know, I'm making a joke.
there's
Mondello.
an Italian Mondial.
Mondial.
Yeah.
There you
go.
go.
I think Dusky Amps has a pedal called the Mandolo, and it has a picture of an almond on it.
Instead of doing the almonds, they should have done more of the driftwood.
That's also almond though.
I know, but that, like they leave out the nuts,
Right.
keep the wood. It's what I'm saying. We don't need the nuts. The wood looks better.
I've never looked into it, but I've always wondered about if
the wood looks better than the nuts is all I'm saying.
All right.
We're children. We're so mature over here.
I feel like I've never seen a resin body like this where the resin is the majority of the guitar. Usually it's like wood and it's some kind of like, live oak. It's a live oak body and we filled in all the gaps with resin.
It's kind of a way a freaking ton.
Yeah.
Because usually like on a resin guitar, there's,
That's why it's $227 to ship to the United States.
It weighs 80 pounds. Yeah, usually it's like, it's all full of colored pencils or whatever. And most maybe it's split 50-50, 50% wood, 40% resin and 10% graphite. It's not graphite that's in colored pencils. It's some sort of crayon sort of substance.
Yeah, I don't know how they make
it's not a what is it? I've never asked.
If you know what's inside a colored pencil, leave a comment down below.
I think the price in Italy before shipping is fair. I think that's the project starter price. Someone out there might see this and be like, you know what? I love almonds. I can't get enough of almonds. Everything in my life has to be almond based. $113 for a Telecaster body. Otherwise, it looks functional. You could throw a Telecaster neck on this. You can throw the pickups in there. You can throw a bridge on it and the electronics and everything. And it's going to be an electric guitar body. It's the right shape. It looks like everything is cut correctly.
It's the right shape. This is an electric guitar body. It is in the shape of an electric guitar.
It's in the shape of a Telecaster. It's not one of these things that's like wonky, weird shape that we will make fun of. It's a standard
It's a shape that you will recognize.
It's a very famous shape. But someone could take it and they could give it a high polish with some wet sandpaper and some
buffing wheel
and stuff like that. I think it'll look fine. It glows in the dark. It's got almonds in it. It's got a piece of wood in it. I just think if it had, like if it was a bunch of driftwood packed together with the green in between, like imagine that in the glow in the dark shot. if it was more like kind of cracks of glow in the dark resin going in
Yeah,
between wood. I
yeah.
think it would be a really compelling sort of look, and it would be more standard for
You could do a lot of
a
cool
resin guitar,
things
yeah.
with glow in the dark, and I just don't think this was one of them.
It just
Sorry.
it just looks like there's turds floating in the septic tank with a flashlight dropped into it.
You mean
You know,
Mandorle?
when you take a peek inside your septic tank and you drop your flashlight and you just see all those turds floating around there, that's what that shot looks like.
I've literally never looked inside of a septic tank.
I don't even have a septic tank. So that's where I'm at. All right, that we solved it. No one needs to know anything more about this guitar.
Oh,
Go ahead and buy it if you see it somewhere. And
we
make it a
dare
guitar.
you. We
Okay, if
dare
you
you.
if you're going to redo this, but you have to put nuts in it. Not your nuts. You have to put nuts from a tree or a plant. It can be cashews, even though technically
They can be like
fruit.
they can be non nuts. Like peanuts are
Right.
actually legumes.
Right. Like it's something that people consume and think like, oh, this is a nut. I'm eating a nut, even though it's
Right.
not technically a nut, because apparently nothing is technically a nut.
I mean, if you really, our coffee, I think coffee beans are technically nuts.
Really?
The coffee caster,
I thought they
would
were
be-
beans.
let's find out. What would you pick,
This whole time I
Ryan?
thought you guys were drinking the hot bean water out there. Instead, you're drinking the hot nut water?
I could be wrong. What
be
is
wrong.
what is coffee?
Could be right.
What nut would you pick? Well, I looked this up.
I mean, I'm a longtime lover of peanut butter. Like if like I could go for like a Skippy or a Jif themed guitar, Jif caster, Jif Sting, I don't know, or a Skippy caster,
Skippy caster.
and just have peanuts floating in there, has like a crunchy sort of thing. I mean, macadamia nuts are delicious. I know those probably are technically not a nut. I think they are a seed or a fruit or something like that.
Okay, let's see.
Walnuts have that excellent texture to them. They would look really cool.
Coffee is technically a pea berry.
It's a pissberry.
Wait, a pea berry? No. I think you could make the argument that
This is
it's
riveting
maybe
stuff.
that it's a nut, but it's not.
Steve,
It's
people are
not a
going to
nut.
complain that we're not talking about
It's
guitars.
apparently a stone fruit.
A stone fruit.
Coffee fruit is also a so-called stone fruit, just like a cherry pit.
Or like a peach.
Yeah, so it's not a nut.
Which makes me wonder if you could make coffee or any sort of beverage out of peach pits.
Maybe.
Maybe.
My nut of choice for this would be just a bunch of hexagonal like zinc plated nuts from Lowe's. That's my choice. You said it could be any nut.
Any kind of nut that people eat. And
that people
that
eat.
people do eat them. My weird addiction or whatever.
Yeah.
Just get a
I was gonna say cola nuts would be cool.
cola nuts? Are
Yeah.
those like the big like Brazil nut?
No, that cola nuts is what they make Coca-Cola out of. Like that's what the flavor is supposed to be.
Ah.
It's cola.
You know
I don't know what
is
they
like
actually taste
vanilla
like.
beans.
Oh, but those are beans.
I know.
Those aren't nuts.
I know they're beans. Like my vanilla baked beans are famous. It's very expensive to make.
So you know how kids they always say like they always like kids say the darndest thing kind of
They
like,
sure do.
you know, like
are you kidding me?
kids when they're little they just say things and you try to be mature about it.
There was
and
a
you try to,
show
like,
called that. Kids when they're little, they just say things. It
Yeah.
was very popular.
kids and it was hosted by
William
Drew Carey, wasn't it?
It's called, this is an alternate universe thing.
So anyway,
Drew Carey ended up hosting the new version of Kids Say the Darndest Things, right?
I don't
That's what
know.
you're referencing?
I feel like he could have.
I think he had
I
like
don't
a
know who he
season
did.
of that, but it used to be Bill Cosby.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And
We're
who is
totally
your
off the
who is
rails
your
now.
alternate reality Bill Cosby? 'Cause that's where I thought you.
I was going to say William, and then I was going to try to come up with a alternate Cosby sort of
Oh.
name. I don't know.
No.
We're completely lost now. None of this makes any
alternate
sense.
reality Bill Cosby is Morgan Freeman.
That would have actually been an amazing show.
Anyway, so one of my kids when they were very young, but could talk and could demand things, would run around. She loved like trail mix and whatever.
Oh, a
and
trail mix guitar
and
would be amazing.
pistachios would be
Oh, pistachios are great.
but she would just run around and be like, I want nuts. And to this day, like I'll be sitting there with a bowl of pistachios and I'll look at it and I'll look over at my wife on the other side of the couch. I'll be like, hey, she'd be like, what? I'll be like, I'm like, I'll hold one up and be like, I want nuts.
I want nuts. I chickened out, but this past Christmas, I got in my head that I was going to go nuts for Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just going to buy everyone nuts for their Christmas
That's
gift.
not a bad idea.
It's really not. It's really not a bad idea. But where I got hung up is like, I'm going to get fancy nuts that no one has ever had. And then I was like searching around and I realized we've had all the nuts. Like there's no fancy nuts like that. I was trying to find like the most exotic nut. And it's like, no, like we have all the nuts.
I'm
like
pretty sure the most exotic nut is the cashew.
So then I was like, do I just go for bulk? do you get my brother a 10-pound sack
Oh my gosh. Of peanuts.
of peanuts or walnuts or something like that? All right, I got everyone a 10-pound sack of a certain type of nut.
They're all,
if you guys want to trade, go ahead. Here's some scoopers.
they're all like whole. They're all whole nuts with it. And so like nobody has a nutcracker. They just got nuts. Did your family have like the hand nutcracker?
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh,
like
yeah.
basically the forearm grip.
My family was a hazelnut family.
Hazelnut.
We would always we'd always have a big bowl of hazelnuts out during the holidays. Yeah. And those are really easy and fun to crack with a little thing.
Yeah,
but like then you get like a walnut or something or a Brazil nut, and it's just like, oh man, I don't want to work all day for this.
Yeah, walnuts are a lot of work.
Yeah, and like pecans.
Mm-hmm.
You give pecans to someone you don't
all
like.
All of the ones that kind of like where the nut meat is like brain shaped.
Right, and it's just going to crumble as you open it. And then you crack open a walnut and you're trying to eat it out of the thing and there's like little debris on it and it's like the nut itself is bitter and it's like, this is really more of a recipe nut, isn't it?
Ryan,
yeah.
Do you think people are enjoying this?
No.
Well, if you happen to be enjoying this, you should head on over
to nuts.
Yeah, and you should head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the shenanigans that happen on this program.
Now,
just
I know
like
we have new Patreon, Steve, so don't lie to me and say that we don't.
We have 4.
Whoa! I wish we had like a streamer popper to celebrate.
Gosh. At the $1 level, we have Sean McNeil.
Thank you, Sean.
At the $8.50 Australian dollar level, which I believe is the $5 level, we got Hutch.
Thank you, Hutch.
And at the regular $5 level, we've got Joshua Nowakowski. And at the $10 level, we have
Joshua.
Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
It's just
Todd.
Todd.
Do you like that I'm saying your name? Does it feel good? Does it tickle your ears when I say Todd? And you know that I'm talking about you specifically. I'm not talking about the other Todds in the audience. I'm talking about you, Todd.
Todd.
Thank you, Todd, for supporting this program and making it possible for all the freeloaders out there who don't pay anything. It's all because of you, Todd. They all need to thank you and everyone else that supports us through Patreon.
Are you done?
I'm done.
All right, let's talk about other people that like what we do here, like returning sponsor, Pickup Music. Pickup Music is I've got my note here again. I found
read it all, Steve.
Pickup Music is an online guitar learning platform that provides structured learning experiences for modern styles. I'm still using mine. I still do the lessons there. I'm a little behind. I've been really busy with work, but that's kind of the nice thing about it is you get to work at your own pace. If you do a lesson and then you're like, you know what, like I took a couple weeks off, I should repeat the last lessons that I did. Imagine you go to a guitar teacher and you're like, yeah, the last couple of weeks I didn't really get to play guitar. Can we just redo the last lesson? They're going to be like so judgy, right?
You want me to do this again? You want me to show you 3 minor chords again?
Yeah.
You're all right. All right. You're paying me $20 an hour.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it. You know, is that how much?
I don't know.
Instructors?
Probably,
I don't know.
Probably not.
Might be more.
So with Pickup Music, you can repeat lessons if you want. But right now for September, the month of September, from the September 1st to September 30th, anyone who signs up
whole month, Steve.
Yeah, anyone who signs up for a 14-day free trial will be entered into a giveaway, as they say, stands a chance to win a beautiful Ibanez AZES 40.
The Ibanez AZES 40. Which model is that?
I don't know.
It's an AZ, which is like the AZs are like really cool. Those are like those like kind of vintagey super strats.
Yeah, it's basically it's a $350 Stratocaster HSS layout. Looks pretty cool. I'm looking at a mint,
there it is.
mint green one here.
Oh yeah, those are great.
One of these guys.
Is it hardtail? That's a hardtail one, right?
Is it? It kind of looks like it.
Oh no, it's got a trim cavity. Yeah, that's got a wiggle stick on it.
That's just no. It's just got springs in there, so you can feel the springs.
I was talking to Steve about.
No, hold on.
The other day.
So one thing, because we talked about this before, Pickup Music is always updating their lessons.
Right.
And since the last time that they sponsored the program, they've added a groove funk learning pathway.
Groove funk.
They've added a country learning pathway, which seems like a huge oversight that they didn't have that before, but they have it now. I'm doing caged, and if I wanted to, after I'm done with caged, I could do the Hendrix with caged, or I could do the caged arpeggios, both of which are master classes. So there's all of these new things. They're always adding new things. Go check it out. Get your 14-day free trial and get into this giveaway.
It's contest. A free trial. You can actually learn a lot through Pickup Music in 2 weeks. So just guys, help us out. Click the link, do a 14-day trial, and then cancel it if you don't like it. If you love it, then you make the financial decision if you're going to stay on or not. I was using it for a while and I was loving it. I was learning a lot, actually. I'm still processing a lot that I learned. I need to pick it back up. I've been in the middle of learning drums, but that's a whole other story.
This episode's also brought to you by
Stringjoy.
I got the orbiters here. I got the signatures here.
The orbiters are a coated string, and I think that's my preference. I've been going for the orbiters a lot. Those are the 10.5s, right? 10.5s to 52.
That's what I've been using.
They're great. They're great. They're so great that, like, if you've ever used old style coated strings, the ones that get fuzzy where you're picking and stuff like that, that's not these.
Yeah.
These are the ones that just feel slightly oily and slightly greasy. And then after like a week, you're like, I don't remember which of my guitars have coated strings on it because these just feel like normal strings. And then 6 months down the road, you're like, this must be the one with coated strings because the strings are still really fresh and it's 6 months later. Like that's the experience I've been having with them.
These are enamel. It's an enamel coating, which I think is why it's different.
It means you can click on them.
But I don't know. Like I know what enamel is, but I don't know what it means, but I think that's why it's like so different from what Elixir does. So very cool. Go check these out. Use a link below.
I wasn't going to name names, Steve.
Did
I say Elixir?
Maybe I said it. One of us said it.
You just said it just now. I don't remember saying it, like it's not, but it's not what Elixir does.
I mean, that's not a bash. It's just not what they do.
It's just not what they do.
Use a link below. Use code HUM to get 10 percentage points reduced from your total
And it is an affiliate link, and we do make money when you buy strings. And you're watching a guitar podcast. You're listening to a guitar podcast. You need strings. So give it a shot. 10% off. Try some Stringjoy. See if you like them. If you hate them, tell everyone it was our fault. I'll take the blame. I don't think you're going to hate them, though.
This next ad.
This is going to be the Zero Noise, right? Sent by Mark DeBrun.
Yep. It is 10 Effectin Pedalin Boss NF1 and NS2. I'm trying to see. I guess he doesn't ever send us there's no photo of the full Danish, unfortunately. Danish?
He did
Dutch.
Dutch.
He did translate it. Here's an ad for a pedal board loaded with 10 noise gates. There are 7 Boss NF1s and 3 NS2s on this board, but the numbering on them suggests there are at least 18 in total at one point. No further explanation is given. There is no reserve price. From the look of the seller's ads, I'm guessing these are possessions of a deceased relative. So any guesses what on earth the original owner was doing with these? Was he in an 18-piece death metal big band? What would you do if you inherited this? I would sell it on eBay like this. Upgate On the noise gate only pedal board, a buy it now price of €350 has been added. At €350, 10
I have a wild
NS2s.
theory.
I think I would buy this immediately. Oh, this isn't on eBay. This is at
How much
wherever it is.
how much did you say it was?
€350.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just buy. Just for the weirdness of it, honestly. Uh, when this is my first time actually sitting and staring at it and
Mhm.
thinking about it. Like
Mhm.
I just looked at the ad when I grabbed it. It was like, oh, a pile of noise gates on one pedal board. That's crazy. Let's talk about it. Now I'm looking at the way they're wired, and I have a wild theory.
Hit me.
Because they're not wired into each other. That's
Yeah.
what I initially assumed. Like I saw all this cabling and I was like, what is going on here? They're not going from noise gate to noise gate to noise gate to noise gate. It's like this person has made a big snake cable
Yeah.
that has, I'm assuming, a jack and an input and an output for each noise suppressor. I think someone was running this into a soundboard.
Mm.
And so they had like 10 noise gates all running into one soundboard so they could throw a noise gate on, 4 different vocals, on
Mhm.
3 different drum mics, on, a couple different guitars, like it was so that they could noise gate each individual
Yeah.
instrument running through a soundboard, which is like, it seems overkill, but it's also kind of visionary in a way, because now you can just do that on any modern, like computerized soundboard. And I'm sure that there's been, on older analog boards, there have been noise gate features, but maybe it was a global noise gate.
Yeah, that's what I would expect.
This was individual noise gates. I'm imagining for a multi-channel analog board, which is kind of brilliant if you think about it. I mean, it's a lot of extra cabling. It's interesting. There's a lot of power supplying.
It's interesting to think about
knob
this
twisting.
In the context of like it being connected to a board that has effects loop basically that you would plug these into, but then wouldn't necessarily have a built-in noise gate. But hey, whatever.
But no,
whatever
look at the age of this. It was
yeah. No, you're right. These cables are super old.
Think about it for 5 seconds and tell me this is not something the sound guy at our old church would have done in the mid 80s. This is totally a David thing.
Oh yeah. 100%.
He totally would have rigged up something like this, and a new sound guy would have come in and completely questioned it and been like, what is going on here? And he'd be like, oh, you just don't understand it.
And then the new sound guy would have like unplugged it and realized, oh, I do have to use this.
Right. Because the building is 80 years old and the wiring hasn't been updated since the church was used for like just a choir.
I haven't driven by that building in a while. I wonder if it's
not there.
No, I know, but I want to see, like I've been driving by every few months to see the new luxury condos go up.
Right.
I'm wondering if they're done yet.
Our old church got sold and torn down and rebuilt into luxury condos, which honestly is better serving that community than the church was. And the church took all that real estate money and they moved up the road to where they can serve the community a lot better.
Like legitimately, I think that church is probably one of the only churches that I heard of, that I was aware of, which, I mean, I guess I wasn't aware of a ton, that wasn't like dying during COVID. Like we went to the live stream thing and we followed like the guidelines fairly well. Like we did our best. But I know a lot of like churches took big,
totally.
So it's one of these things where like, if you believe in like divine providence, the decision to, hey, we're going to sell this property and we're going to buy cheaper property and we're just going to bank the rest of this till we need it. Like that was and then freaking COVID hits.
Right.
That was like, that's a divine providence
solid
kind of alignment.
And by the way, our old church that we're talking about that sold this property, if there's any church in the world that I'd be happy for them to have a great big chunk of money, it would be that church. Cause they did an excellent job of pouring that money back into the community with like food programs and stuff like that, and housing programs.
When I say they,
sober programs.
When I say they bought property, they saw the right, like, because people are gonna be like, oh, some church got millions of dollars. Yeah, they got millions of dollars.
They did.
It's
a church that for most of its history struggled to have thousands of dollars.
And what did they do with that millions of dollars is they found another church that was basically like, we have to shutter our doors because we don't have enough people here, in a part of town that was like poor people, like one of the poorer neighborhoods in San Diego. And that's where they went. They didn't like go and build like a fucking cathedral,
right?
You know, reaching to the heavens, made out of gold.
It was like a mini mall that they bought, right? Oh, they got a previous church building, and didn't they invest in a mini mall or something for their food programs and stuff?
I don't know where they ended up doing the food program. I know they were talking about that.
Okay.
I don't know if they ended up doing that.
All right.
But yeah, a lot of that money was going just to keep the Feeding America stuff running too.
All right.
They did a lot anyway.
So this
good things,
and we're proud of that church. There's some churches that we definitely criticize.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's not one of them. The only reason that I stopped going is because we wanted to be.
Because you moved.
We moved.
Well, no, you didn't move. You just live far away.
We live far away, and we have Henry was young, and we wanted to be in our neighborhood.
Yeah, that's why I don't go there anymore either. Because it's not close to me.
Like an hour and a half away from you now. If I bought this pedal board, which I would if it wasn't in Holland or wherever, you know that I'd plug them all in to each other.
Like chaining.
I'd chain them all together just to do it one time. I'm not like you. I wouldn't put them all up on eBay like this. I would part it out.
Oh yeah, no, you have to part it out.
Yeah. I'd be selling one noise gate a month for like 2 years or something.
And honestly, like I looked them up. There's not actually there's 10.
Okay.
And there's not actually that much money wrapped up in these. No. These are like $50 to $60 a piece. So
I'd give them away as Christmas presents.
There you go.
Everyone gets a vintage noise gate. I wonder if Josh has one of these. Josh Scott?
Oh, probably.
He has an NF1.
This is $380. He probably has an NF1 and an NS2. He probably has multiples.
Okay, so how much profit is in this? We've got 10 of these.
Okay.
They go for $50 each.
Yeah, so you could make at least $100. Is that worth your time?
It's not worth the time.
To me, I think with pedals, you gotta be close to 100%.
There's too much effort to make $100.
I think if you could sit on it and try to figure out how to turn that into like, you're going to pay $400 and you're going to make $200, then maybe it's worth it. This would be more worth it as an inner circle joke, where you just bought this, and then for the next 10 people who joined the inner circle, we gave them a noise suppressor. That would be better.
That would be hilarious. That would be actually really funny. You know, like even this cabling looks like something.
The cabling looks like
looks like something
professional.
David, our old sound guy, would have been messing around with.
This cabling is better than I would have done it. What it is?
I know, it's so old and ratty, and just all the gray cable and everything.
Well, that's probably, again, this is like 80s standard cable.
I know it is.
This is like patch bay cable.
When I see this type of cable, I just have flashbacks to the church.
Yeah, because they
I know they invested a ton in the 80s. The problem is that we were playing in the 2000s.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I forgot I can't find, my guitar cable's shorting out. You got anything? Here, try this. And it was one of these cables.
Right.
Oh,
25-year-old, 30-year-old cables. Oh, they had those brown cables too.
Yeah.
Just all that old cabling.
And
like
those were like
cracking.
handmade. The brown the brown XLRs, those were all XLR cables. And at some point I was like, we were like going through all of them trying to because we're like, we don't know if it's the mic or the cable. And I was like,
it doesn't really matter that they're handmade. The cabling is decades
old. David was insistent that because it was handmade, it would be superior to anything that you could buy at Guitar Center.
But the middle of it's been kinked around a mic stand.
And I was like,
times.
okay, David, here, like, how, you know how much it's going to cost to replace all this stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's going to cost like $30 a cable. And every time from now until you die,
right,
when that cable fails, you'll throw it in a fail pile on that day. And then sometime during the week, you'll drive that cable over to Guitar Center and get a new one for free.
Right. A lifetime warranty on monsters or whatever, you know, like.
Anyway,
this whole ad has been an excuse for us to bitch about cables.
I know.
And talk about church for some reason.
Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
Don't ask. What's new?
Don't ask. You know I don't have anything new. You know that you're the one with new stuff.
I do have a new thing.
All right, tell us about the new thing.
Oh, I thought we were doing this new thing this episode.
Oh, yeah. We've got people have been asking if we have these things, and yes, we do. We've got posters from Sweetwater. We should have done it the previous weeks. I forgot I had them. Funny story about these. You hold that one up. I'll get one of the big ones. Sweetwater had these printed up huge when we went to Gear Fest, like even bigger than this.
I know. I thought they were a different color.
Well, these two are different colors. The one that they had on display, because they had all the posters for all the channels on display in their auditorium there. The one they had on display, they got Steve's name wrong, and it said Steve Ryan.
Yeah, so it said Ryan Burke and Steve Ryan.
But it's got all our information on there. It's fun. They did all these posters in the theme of different album covers and famous concert posters and stuff like that.
What famous concert poster is this?
I don't know, man. Probably some Elvis poster or something like that. Yeah.
Someone's gonna be like, "That's obviously idiots."
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
Thank you for informing us in the comments. That's what the comment section is for, because we don't know anything. You guys know everything. We're just here to entertain you and be dumbasses so you can feel better than us.
I'm saving what's new for next week.
All right.
What I will say is friend of the show, Jordan Carroll, who runs the shop. I was looking to see if it's over there. Runs the shop Our Lady of Static.
Oh, okay.
Released the pedal chain.
Oh, yeah.
Which y'all may have seen from Emily Harpist. Rocking that at the Chase, was it a Chase Bliss event? She had it.
I think it was the Earthquaker.
The Earthquaker event.
Earthquaker Day.
It's a gold chain with with 90-degree angle plugs on. We're talking about cables again.
Right.
That so you can wear a pedal as bling.
You can wear a pedal around your neck,
but it has to have
way of is a cable that is actually a dookie rope. So there you go.
But it has to be it has to have side jacks.
I bet you could finagle it to work with top jacks. It would pinch the sides a little bit, but it would, you could do it.
Yeah, I mean,
most stuff.
But like, then it's going to be like weighing straight.
All right. I mean, you're already hanging a guitar pedal off your neck.
I saw somebody ask Jordan about it, and he was like, "Yeah, the physics didn't really work out because the pedal doesn't want to like stay connected to the."
Oh yeah, because it got to be okay.
Yeah,
I want to see someone do it with a Crybaby with just an 80-pound.
Oh damn.
Die-cast pedal
with a Digitech whammy, a whammy one, a whammy XP 120.
Right. I should get one for Lauren for Christmas. I got you jewelry, honey. Now you can hang a pedal around your neck.
Do it with a Klon. Yeah, Klon has top jacks, right?
Yeah, it's on top jacks. Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna put a link below if you want to see it.
Thanks, Steve.
So.
Hopefully I don't buzz through the edit too fast and I actually hear us talking about this and I put a picture up here, but that doesn't happen all the time because sometimes I'm lazy when I'm editing. And this coming Friday, I have a feeling I'm going to be a little lazy, so I'm probably going to buzz right through it.
Oh yeah, speaking of, happy birthday.
Steve, this comes out after my birthday.
Happy late birthday.
And I'm going to do a live stream on my birthday. So
they don't know that.
They probably do.
They probably watch the live stream.
They probably watch the live stream. Thank you,
should
Steve.
live stream while editing.
We should live stream during the party on Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
Just leave the laptop running and just like let people walk up to it.
That would be terrible.
It would be a bad idea. Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
We party so hard. we'd get canceled because of how hard we party.
Well,
When
it's
people see us eating barbecue and trying to keep our kids calm, they're going to be like,
know.
"Oh, these guys."
it's a party at
Yeah.
your house. You can party as hard as you want.
That's true.
My doctor
I don't
told
have to go
my
anywhere.
doctor told me I have to stop partying so hard.
Did he?
Yeah, she did.
She did.
She said I have to eat less red meat
Mm-hmm.
and that my triglycerides are so high that they couldn't measure my low density lipoproteins. So
This
they
is
don't
real.
they don't actually know what my bad cholesterol levels are because
You guys are so bad.
because
they're
my
off the charts.
triglycerides were so high that they could, because they're tied together. It's like they measure one thing and then I think they use that as a baseline to measure the other thing. But the baseline was so high that they couldn't measure the other thing.
I thought you were referencing like a song or something. I was waiting for like
No.
yeah, I was waiting for the punchline, but it turns out Steve is actually very sick.
This is the non-introduced update to my blood work topic from 2 weeks ago.
Well, if anyone has any advice for Steve on how to get his triglycerides lower, drop him on him.
Exercise, less red meat, probably less alcohol. Those are the things.
Maybe
that I
you
was
shouldn't
told.
come to the party.
Well, I'm not getting another blood test for 6 months, so I'm gonna go hard for 5 months.
No,
And
that's
then
not how anything.
I'm gonna go hard in
Steve.
one direction for 5 months, and I'm gonna like full on hairpin turn back.
We're middle aged now. There's no reset button. What you have is what you get. Like that's it.
Hey, but I don't have diabetes.
You don't have diabetes, and I don't have high cholesterol. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Otherwise, are you healthy?
yeah.
Okay, good. You got the one.
Maybe.
You got
We'll
the one
see.
thing. You got the
Well, I
one
got
thing.
that, and I think that's tied into like some. Yeah. Anyway, never mind.
All right.
Sponsor spot.
Another sponsor spot
Yeah, dude. Well, we did the last sponsor spot like 20 minutes ago.
because we were talking about what's new. All right, let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it.
So this next sponsor is Chase Bliss.
That's right.
Speaking of pedal chains, if you see this pedal chain out there, it's going to be with a Mood Mark II, from what I recall. Ryan's got a pedal board full of Chase
Not
Bliss.
full, but there's certain pedals that we haven't featured in the sponsorship for a while because I just keep them on my board because I actually use them. I was like trying to pick a pedal to pick up, and I was like, how about we just pick up my whole pedal board and we can be like Warped
You got a
Vinyl,
Dark World,
Dark World, Gravitas,
Grabbing Ass.
Grabbing Ass. I legitimately actually use Chase with pedals all the time. Like there's some people are like, oh, they're so complicated. How would you ever use them? I don't know, man. I use them all the time. They sound great. I love them.
I mean, what, you got like 2 presets on there? How many presets you got on
I actually don't store presets. I just run them as I go.
just as great
But it's like-
sounding pedals?
Just as great sounding
Yeah.
pedals.
You can
I use them heavily. And that is my church board. That is my gigging board. That is, that is my demo board when I
So you're saying that that's the board your church bought you?
No, they didn't buy me anything.
I know. I'm no, that's not that. I mean,
bought
I'm not
them
gonna say it's
stuff.
not a thing, but it's kind of not a thing.
I left a guitar at my church years ago. I was like, some kid will end up.
So head
For
on
this
over
guitar.
to chasebliss.com.
Yeah.
Get on their mailing list so when you find out about things. This comes out after the Rev C pre-sale is over. So if you didn't get it on the Rev C and you wanted to, sucks to suck, I guess. You're gonna have
Sucks
to
to
buy
suck.
one for $1,000 on Reverb.
So
And now you can't complain about it because you had a month,
a whole month,
a whole month,
probably longer.
a whole month
Right.
at least.
So I was gonna say I left my old Hamer at church because I wasn't selling at the price that I wanted.
Which one?
The double cut one.
Oh, the Sunburst.
The
Yeah.
Sunburst double cut. It wasn't selling at the price that I wanted. It was like at the price that I'm gonna have to sell this thing, I should just donate it. So I left it at the church. It was like I told the youth leader there, I was like, if some kid wants this and wants to take it home, they're more than welcome to. Otherwise, it's free to kick around for the kids to play with. The kid that ended up taking it home was a lead pastor's daughter. And so then she left it at home when she went to college. And then the lead pastor started learning how to play guitar to recapture his
gosh.
youth. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is my daughter's guitar. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is. It wasn't my intention for it to be your guitar. I thought a kid was going to get it. But also, like, Hey,
you
you're
never
learning
know.
guitar. I'm glad it ended up with someone.
That's better than
I didn't tell him that it was my guitar
right.
either.
And
I'm
I
just
think
like, cool.
I think that's better than the outcome that I've seen happen multiple times where a church has a house guitar and a kid comes in and is like sometimes or even a kid that's like maybe they're a little I'm using a personal story but trying to make it vague. They're like from like kind of a sketchy background, but they're a good kid at heart and they're interested in learning music. So you're like, well, we got this electric guitar in the closet if you want to take it home. Like, just make sure, like, just see you next week, see you next week, see you next week, you know? And then 4 months later, you're like, man, I haven't seen so-and-so for a while. And you look in the closet and there's no guitar. And I've seen that basically happen twice.
So a kid takes
the
a
same
guitar,
church.
then you never see him again.
Like maybe that you see him a couple more times after that, but eventually like they
But
just
you know
stop showing
what?
up. Oh, it's just kids being kids.
I hope they learn to play guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
They cracked me up.
Take it.
They cracked me up because after I had quit, because I was working at that church, after I had quit, I saw that kid on social media playing like Three Little Birds or some crap on that guitar.
Right.
And I was like, well, like mission accomplished, I guess. But it's just kind of funny.
As long as it ends up in someone's hands who's playing it, take the guitar.
Yeah.
You know, like churches get stuff donated to them all the time. Take the piano. Churches get pianos donated to them all the time. You know what? Sneak into a church. You see a piano pushed against the wall. Put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket.
They won't miss it.
They won't miss it.
All right. This week's topic
Not
is
a keyboard. I'm talking about a full-size piano. That's the joke.
No.
If you see a keyboard,
leave it. They're probably using it.
Yeah, they're probably using that.
This
like
week,
a Nord or something like that. Someone's going to steal a Nord and they're going to blame it on us.
Yeah. This week's topic.
Take the Wurlitzer.
This week's topic. Fender released 2 newer-ish products this week. One is the Waylon Jennings Telecaster, which I think is like $3,000.
I didn't see the Telecaster.
Yeah, they reissued the Waylon Jennings Telecaster. It's one of those leather-bound tellies,
right?
And I'm
well, that's what I was going to ask. Is it wrapped in leather like his was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Think it's new.
Oh, it's like a limited edition thing.
Is it? I don't know.
I'm going to the custom shop right now. I wonder how many they made. Oh, look at that. They did it.
They did it. How much is it? Does it say?
It does not say on here. There's a find a dealer thing. I have a feeling it probably, who knows? I don't know how much it costs.
I mean, I think they've made it before.
But they made
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is new. So the other thing, or maybe it's just in addition.
Right.
But I saw it announced alongside their new pedal, the Waylon Jennings Phaser, which I spent some time yesterday listening to a bunch of Waylon Jennings songs. And it's interesting because I guess like he does use phaser here and there, but then I was landing on a lot of like his older stuff from like the 60s and the early 70s where there's just there's no phaser.
But is it like,
but phaser is a thing that he used
on some Waylon Jennings songs? It's like there's no effects here. It's an acoustic guitar or whatever. And on some songs, it's like there's a lot of phaser here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of phaser going on here. But it's like there's a couple different conversations that we could have around this because he's dead.
Yeah. Well, the first thing about the product, I'll say, because you got it here, so let's talk about this thing.
You're gonna.
It's just one of the directions.
All right. Zig after I like just jump. Oh, he's dead. You're like, let's not talk about that.
We'll talk about how he's dead later. He's been dead for 20 years, I think.
Well, what I'm getting at
21 years
is that it's not like they built it for him.
Right.
It's for people who, for people who like him, for people who want to make music like him, who want to sound like him.
Now,
it's not like they're like, hey, Waylon, what do you think of this? And he signed off on it. It's the same way. It's like any other estate licensed product, like all the Hendrix pedals that have come out that, Hendrix was never alive to put his signature on any of this stuff. Like Gibson tried to release a Stratocaster.
So
because they licensed that from the Hendrix estate.
So what's interesting about that though, like on the on the Waylon Jennings Phaser is the phaser that he used in the 70s was a Fender Phaser. Apparently.
I wouldn't be surprised if he used all sorts of
different
phasers.
They're saying that he had so in the
Which
script
phaser did he use?
It said building on Fender's original 4-stage phaser circuit developed in the 1970s. I guess it doesn't necessarily say he used it, but it's implied.
Okay.
The Waylon Jennings Phaser provides 3 distinct flavors of phasing by switching between 2, 4, or 6 phase stages, allowing you to cover the gamut of phasing tones used by Jennings on stage and in studio. So this is a new effect that's based on an old Fender effect. It's got the Waylon, it comes in a box that's got the Waylon X Fender Good Time in World Tour based on his World Tour graphics.
Yeah, I have a list here of effects and equipment that he used. He used a Maestro PS1A phase shifter. So good thing Fender jumped on this before Maestro could. Well, it probably was a package deal with the estate to make the Telecaster and make the pedal. He used a MXR Phase 90, a classic simple option, and a Phase 100, a Boss CE1 chorus ensemble. That's interesting. And then it's just, I'm seeing a bunch of acoustic guitars and microphones and amplifiers. He liked super reverbs, a magnetone. I'm not seeing any more phasers. So he was using the phasers that were available at the time. I don't know about that Fender phaser at all. I can't imagine in my mind what a 1970s Fender phaser looked like.
Well, they had those solid state remember that weird run of solid state amps that the Fendler design is based off of?
Oh, yeah.
And there may have been a phaser in that series, but it sounds like maybe Waylon didn't. Were you looking at
I don't know, that was just on some site.
Were you looking at a quit board?
That's
looks like a quit board.
Let me see. Yeah, a quit board. That site lists 3 different phasers.
And none of them are that one.
He probably used more than that. That's just what was recorded at some point. Like, oh, he definitely used this one. You know, so he might have used the Fender one. He might have used like 10 different types of phasers.
Right.
Because like phaser was a big part of his electric guitar tone. Like he phases all over the place. So it's an obvious like product to release if you happen to have licensing.
No, it's also being sold at WaylonShop.com. So
there you go.
It's a full collaboration. It's being sold direct from Fender.
So let's
Chicago Music Exchange.
Let's talk about how interesting it is that it's not a brand new case design or layout or anything like that.
Hold on, the Telecaster is new as well.
Okay.
So I think they've made it before, but
they're repurposing the Fender Hammer Tone layout.
Yeah.
And it's priced really similar.
Yeah.
And it's priced in a way that makes me think that now we know how much the Waylon Jennings estate is getting per pedal.
Right.
Because the Hammer Tone stuff was all like, it was like $89 and $99. Like the flanger here, I think this one
was 99.
This one was 99. And so the phaser is at 129?
129.
So either they're putting a little bit extra on there to pad their pockets, or that's how much the licensing costs. Or maybe this was, maybe the Hammer Tone stuff is like a loss leader and these were produced at somewhat of a loss. And I don't think so. I don't think they're produced at a loss. But it's interesting to see that when it's like, it's the same case design, it's the same knob design, it's the same like switch layout, but it is $30 more expensive and there is a licensing thing at play there. And it makes me wonder, is the estate going to get $30 every time one of those phasers sell? Like, I'm not against it. Like, it's still a really accessible price, and it looks like a cool phaser. It's just something that's interesting to think about and speculate about. And it is pure speculation, by the way. This isn't KDH. We're not claiming to have facts here. We know when we're speculating. Don't get wound up. Okay, well, change topic.
What I was going to say is that's actually kind of like an interesting run. And you don't, I guess I would say, like you're saying, well, the estate's going to get this. And to go along with this, just as a caveat, maybe they're not, right?
Maybe they're not.
One of the complaints with, and now there's the second run of the Rick Beato Les Pauls. One of the complaints was like, oh, well, when the last time Gibson did a double cut, it was like $900, and now they're doing the Rick Beato one and it's $2,000. What the hell? Yada yada yada. Assuming that like, well, this is maybe like a 12. Maybe they tweak some specs, made a $1,200 guitar, and Rick's getting like $800 a guitar. But the whole thing with those was that all of the money that Gibson was saying like this is our costs, Rick wasn't getting any of it. Like for him, it was just a publicity stunt, basically. It was all going to
If
like,
I was
it
Rick,
was all
I'd want to get money.
It's all going to like music foundations.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the trade-off.
Yeah. So
someone's getting a tax write-off.
Yeah. That's interesting. Was it a donation in his name?
Right. Right.
Who knows?
Who is getting the tax write-off? I hope it was Rick. Just saying. Gibson is putting your name on something.
Yeah.
And they are getting a profit from it. Like, it would be totally fine. I think it would be totally ethically fine.
I was laughing at something else.
For him to get a tax write-off by diverting what would normally be his cut into charities. Like, I think that's a really solid way to go. And it's all pure speculation. Because I have no idea what happened or, the way things worked out.
So, we're talking about effects pedals for dead people.
Yes. Effects pedals for dead people is my new charity.
Effects pedals for dead people
is where we take an effects pedal and we put your family members, your loved ones' ashes inside of there as a working component. Some fuzzes have germanium transistors. Our pedals are going to have grandpa transistors.
That's awful.
It's kind of not. I kind of like that idea a lot. Put me in a pedal when I die.
There are certain artists like you said, Hendrix, now Waylon Jennings, Cobain.
Yeah.
EVH is still, there's the Van Halen estate doing stuff.
There's all sorts of BB King. There's all sorts of these arrangements where an estate is licensing the name and branding to various companies.
But like, what kind of people?
Dimebag Darrell.
What kind of people? Like, who do you think would be a good candidate for like a pedal? Like maybe they had a signature tone, maybe they were just known for something that you're like, yeah, we should capture that in a pedal.
Scott Joplin harmonist pedal, and it adds a seventh to everything.
Yeah. I definitely would love to see that would be you could, because Mozart was actually he was started as a harpsichord player. You could do a Fender Rhodes, but with the keys reversed. So instead of like a harpsichord actually has, at least the ones I've seen, have black keys with white sharps.
Yeah.
So a Mozart Rhodes with the color switch, because that's how he would have wanted it.
Like, forgive me if I misassign this song to the wrong person, but like, what if there was like a Cab Calloway pedal? Like, it's an EQ pedal, and it has a Heidi high and a Heidi low knob.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is
that Cab Calloway?
That is, I believe that's Cab Calloway. In Blues Brothers 2000, right?
And maybe I'm thinking from like the old recording that was animated.
I'm pretty sure that's Cab Calloway. I was thinking, of course, of tone, and of course, you want like hot tone, like not the brand Hot Tone, but like hot tones.
Yeah, like sweltering,
fiery tones. Like you want to burn that audience. You want to get them. The Tone of Arc pedal. The Joan of Arc signature EQ.
Right. She was a musician, right? I mean, is there a pedal out there that plays that helps you play the secret chord that David played? It doesn't, this stuff doesn't have to be for musicians.
Yeah.
Like, but say like you are having trouble getting heard in the back of the theater.
Right.
In the back
say
of the
there's
auditorium.
People in the balcony.
Yeah, there's people in the balcony that can't hear you.
You want to make sure your guitar tone cuts through and really like you got to get your tone to their heads.
Right. Then of course
you want your tone inside their head.
Right. You want to get your tone inside their head from the stage all the way to the back of the theater. You're going to want a John Wilkes boost.
Yeah. All right.
I pitched that to Steve, and he's been obsessed with it.
I am into the John Wilkes boost.
Someone make a John Wilkes boost, please. Tastefully. Please make it tasteful. Here's one more thing I want to pitch, Steve. I know that we're going long. We're not going to go super long like last week.
I still got another ad to do.
I know. We're going to make it, though. We're both going to die. Like, it's unavoidable. You and I are going to die.
Yeah.
And then after we die, we're leaving behind a body of work. We're leaving behind all these podcast
I'm leaving
episodes.
behind a body. I don't know about any work.
I'm gonna leave behind all these demo videos and stuff like that. Maybe some company is gonna come along and approach our children and be like, "Hey, can we license the name and produce products? What product do you want your name stamped on after you're dead?"
I think I want a signature microphone.
A signature microphone.
Yeah.
A signature podcasting rig.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, I use the Mackie here. I use a Mackie at home. Mackie.
Yeah. We're Mackie boys now. Look at us with these Mackies.
We've been using Mackie gear for 2 months.
Ever since
time for the signature
time
for signature microphone.
Do we want to just to have a signature? They're going to have like a custom finish or maybe a custom foam thing on there.
It could be like brown body with a like that gold yellow 60 cycle hum color.
Yours will just have like glasses printed on it, and mine will have, I don't know, what's my signature thing?
It'll be Hawaiian print.
Okay, there you are. I don't know. That's silly. Like, if you don't have glasses, what's your visual personality? I'm nothing.
You have no personality.
I have nothing.
Yours will just be like surfboards.
A surfboard.
I don't know.
Right. Okay, yeah, sure.
What other kind of signature? Oh, it'll be the 60 cycle hum signature recording stool.
You know what? If you're watching this and you're trying to figure this out, 30, 20, 10, 5 years from now, you're trying to figure out
next week
how to make money licensing my name. Literally anything. Any company comes to you and asks to license my name, just take the money. I don't care. Like, just to get the money. Just, like some brand that I never played, that I never worked with, some instrument that I never played. They want to put my name on something. They want to put my likeness on it and advertise it. Get the money. Yeah. Who cares? Just get it. Like I'm working so hard to take care of you guys. I don't mind it. You misrepresent me, after I die. Like, I don't care now. Why would I care after I die?
It'll be the Bad Cat Ryan Burke Stingray bass with EMG pickups.
Oh, you know what? If Bad Cat wants to cut a check, Steve went for the throat with that one. All right. Okay. I'm not working with Bad Cat anymore for various reasons. All right. That's the end of this bit. Let's talk about the next ad.
This last ad was sent by Greg Straub. The following instrument was produced by the BC Rich U.S. Guitar Company as a unique prototype instrument for the highly acclaimed guitarist Alex Gregory. Details as follows: BC Rich electric mandolin, 2000s production, prototype, U.S. Purple gold case, 9 out of 10. You're just saying things now. What? Okay,
is that
let's
how many
take a
dentists
look.
like it? Like, what's going on here?
Condition 9 out of 10. Dentists approve. This is
the headstock on this is wild.
BC Rich Penta System baritone mandolin. Why is
it's one of those Penta guitars. I remember those being advertised back in the
what does that mean?
Late 90s and early 2000s. The idea is
it's got 5 strings.
It's got 5 strings, but it doesn't do the different tuning when you hit the G string. So it's all just fourths all the way across.
Oh.
And it was like there was this guy who had like these lesson programs, and he was maybe
was it this guy, Alex Gregory?
It might have been that guy who was like he had like these signature guitars that were all 5 strings, and this lesson program. And it's like, you'll learn so fast and you'll be shredding in no time because I've reworked the way that guitar is organized. You don't need 6 strings. You only need 5, and you can just, like people play that way now. They tune the guitar that way. Who does that? I hung out with them at Henning's house.
I don't know.
Buck something. Is it Chris Buck? I feel so embarrassed that I can't remember his name now.
Alex Gregory also apparently has a 7-string Fender electric guitar. In fact, he apparently invented it.
He invented the 7-string?
He invented the 7. He holds a patent for the 7-string Fender guitar.
Oh, for the 7-string Fender guitar.
Yeah.
Because I knew that the 7-string existed as a jazz guitar way before all of this.
A couple of prototypes were presented at NAMM 1988. The Alex Gregory Ultra 7-string Stratocaster and the Alex Gregory Elite 7-string. I don't know if this article says what his patents were. And I've heard of Alex Gregory before, but I've never listened to his stuff. Interestingly enough, I've only heard about him in the context which his name was being used to insult us.
Oh, what did someone say? They said we were no Alex Gregory or something?
I don't remember.
Or they're like, these guys probably don't even know who Alex Gregory is.
Maybe.
Or they were like, I asked Alex Gregory and he said that he doesn't like these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really.
How do you even use Alex Gregory as an insult?
But yeah, apparently he owns patents on like how to make a 7-string bridge, like a 7-string tremolo. And it looks like he has a patent on the headstock, possibly.
You can patent anything, apparently. That's just putting an extra string on a thing that already exists.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm gonna beat him to the punch, and I'm gonna patent a 3-string Floyd Rose.
This is interesting though. I don't remember this. Apparently, you said it was on TV, but I never saw it.
On TV?
Isn't that what you said?
No, I said I saw it on the internet or in magazines or something like that.
The headstock.
But it wasn't this. It was some other guitar that he was having made, and he had like a lesson program or something like that.
Well, so they want
it might not have been him. It might have been someone else.
They want $3,400 for this, plus $262 shipping.
I mean, it's definitely a rare oddity. It's a prototype.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a headstock that looks like a weird bone or something like that.
That's just the BC Rich headstock.
I know, but on a 6-in line.
But small.
But it's a 5-in line.
A 5-in line.
There's enough space on there. They could have had another string on there.
It's not even like a 3x3. It's
But BC Rich.
It's practically a 1x4 because there is a gap between that whatever that low string is, which it looks really thick.
BC Rich already had, 6-in line style headstock designs, and this is not one of them.
I don't know why they chose this.
It's such a weird headstock. I kind of love it though. It's so long and so weird. It's got this fork at the end of it, and the whole thing is purple metal flake, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't hate this thing at all. BC Rich, bring it back. Someone was trying to get us to talk about one of the new BC Riches, and like the current version of BC Rich, all the stuff is like $3,500 or something like that, and they're all single pickup, super strats or whatever, which is like, we want the pointy stuff, and we want it for like.
Well,
if BC Rich made a $900 pointy guitar, I bet they would sell a crap ton of them right now.
It's because BC Rich, I think they've reverted back to just being like the original dude, or like the family of the original dude, and all they want to do is like the 70s BC Rich.
I don't know what the current ownership situation is with BC Rich, but I know it's changed hands probably like 4 times since we started this podcast. So it's been in flux, and I have no idea where it is now. I hope that someday there's enough demand that the pointy BC Riches, the fantasy BC Riches, the fantasy blade BC Riches get back on the market at somewhat affordable prices. They don't have to be the bronze bargain basement stuff that they became kind of notable for through the 90s and the early 2000s. But like if they had $900, $1,300 guitars regularly that on the shapes that people love, like I think people would be all about it. The last time we saw that was the Stranger Things guitar. I was
going to say, did the BC Rich do the Stranger Things guitar?
Yeah, but those were just Stranger Things. Like I want it. You
want like a full-time production.
I almost bought a puke green Warlock as my first electric guitar, and I kind of wish I had bought it. It would have been a cool guitar to be a first guitar. I should have got it.
So what's funny is possibly the most famous BC Rich player right now is Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh, totally.
She has 2 of them apparently.
Yeah. I'm surprised she only has 2.
Well, she has 2. I think
she smashed one of them. So
I think no, that was a Dan Electro.
Oh, that's right.
But I think she has a Stranger Thing, one of the Stranger Things ones too.
Anyway, I've been wanting
Ryan.
I've been wanting to pick up a Warlock and convert it to a surf guitar forever, and I should probably just Photoshop it because I'm never actually going to get around to doing it. Just Photoshop it and get it out of my system.
Ryan,
yeah, Steve,
you ready to do AVC?
Oh my gosh, it's the Adventurers Club.
I already wrote down the winner. Let's see if you agree.
So we had the Almond
Telly.
We had
Zero Noise,
the Zero Noise pedal board,
BC Mando,
and the BC Mando.
And
oh man, this is a tough one, Steve. This was a good episode. Well, you tell me what your decision is.
I wrote down Zero Noise, Mark DeBruyne. What you got? Are we gonna flip for this and do another?
No,
flip?
I agree. It was a great ad.
Thanks,
it's
Mark.
So weird. It's so weird to see all those noise suppressors all at the same time.
And I think this is the first ad that we've done from Mark since we've not
That's
just
right. You know what? Mark and
he took a long break.
Mark and Michael Krause pretty much floated this show for years until we came up with paying people to send us ads. So I feel really good about sending Mark a $25 gift card printed on heavy digital card stock.
It's not printed
to the retailer or restaurant or whatever of his choice.
Mark,
as long as it's
I'm not printing anything for you.
It's printed on digital card stock.
No, what is digital card stock?
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, you can pretend that the email you get is actually card stock. Sure,
it's printed on heavy virtual card stock.
This
with gold leafing.
This song was sent by Seth Williford. He says, "Hello, Ryan and Steve. My name is Seth, and I'm a big fan of the show."
Wait, is his name Seth Williford?
Williford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Are you thinking of Lita Ford?
No, I was just confirming that his name is Seth.
Okay. And I am a big fan of the show. I play in a 4-piece indie alt-rock country band from Texas called Lightning Ben and the Thunder. Here it's a song called Let Me Love You from our brand new EP, Songs About Girls.
That's a great name.
We would be honored to have it play at the end of one of the episodes.
That should
Thanks,
be the,
guys.
That should be the title of like most albums. Songs About Girls. Oh, really? No kidding.
I've been chasing after you for some time now. I'm gonna make you mine, but I don't know how. It's easy to see just what I wanna do. Come on, baby, let me love you. Driving me wild, oh, you always wear got my mind twisted between heaven and hell. I cannot help myself. I stare every time you move. So come on, baby, let me love you. Now don't you run, don't be scared, don't judge me by what I wear. I've got a good heart, darling, you know it's true. So come on, baby, let me love you. Time I see you, I can't control myself. Promise me you won't put my love on no shelf. Oh, treat me right, honey, don't be cruel. me by what I wear. I've got a good heart, darling. You know it's true. So come on, baby, let me love you. You run, don't be scared. Don't judge me by what I wear. I've got a good heart, darling. You know it's true. So come on, baby, let me love you. I've been chasing you around for some time now. Gonna make it mine, but I don't know how. It's easy to see just what I wanna do. Come on, baby, let me love you.
That's great.
Yeah, it sounded good.
Heard a little baritone in there, doing a little Dwayne Eddy twangy sort of thing in there. I like that. Good song. Totally a song about a girl too. You did it.
Yeah. Success.
Congratulations. Success. All right. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.